Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old farmhouse here in the village of Reef on the very west coast of the island of Lewis out in the Scottish Hebrides for another one of our wee live half-hour Saturday night concerts. And this is number 145, live 145. It's got a nice wee ring to it, I think. And anyway, we've got some really dirty weather kind of rolling in from the Atlantic outside, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that the internet connection sort of hangs in there. Those of you who watched the last show from here will remember me talking about the corncrake, the bird that cracks outside, and it's still there. And I think it's been cracking since I was here last, which is about 6 weeks ago. Anyway, I'm going to start off with this wee song, which is a kind of traditional song. It's credited to Robert Burns, but I actually think it's a Jacobite song, and I think it's he probably found an old song and kind of just tidied it up a little bit. But it's an old Jacobite song, and in fact, it was one of the first songs I recorded when we set up our own record company, which was lovely. So we'll try it and see how we got on. It was all for the rightful king. We left fair Scotland strand. It was all for the rightful king that we e'er saw Irish land, my dear, that we e'er saw Irish land. Now all is done that can be done, and all is done in vain. Adieu, my native land, farewell, for I mun cross the main, my dear, for I mun cross the main. He's turned him right and round about upon that distant shore, and he's gied his bridle reins a shake with a dew forevermore, my dear, with a dew forevermore. The soldier free, the war returns, the sailor from the main. But I hate parted way, my love, never to meet again, my dear, never to meet again. When day is done and night is come, and all folks bound to sleep, I'll think on him was far awa of the lee long neck and greet, my dear, very long neck and greet. It was all for the rightful king. We left for Scotland's strand. It was all for the rightful king that we e'er saw Irish land. my dear, that we e'er saw Irish land. And that's my wee song, my wee Jacobite song, which is credited to Burns, called it "Was All For Our Rightful King." And just been joined by my friend Finn, who's my neighbour and crofter, or, well, should I say, retired crofter, up at the croft just up the road from us. And some of you will know Finn from our festival. Have you been up at the festival in Perthshire? Anyway, welcome, Finn. I'm going to continue with a wee song, which we're going to do a couple of chorus songs tonight, and this is a couple of difficult choruses. I decided for the global choir who have been getting some easy choruses recently, we would do a couple of difficult ones. And this is a song I wrote about the discovery of the Lewis Chessmen, which were, and you'll have seen them. They're it was in the 1700s or so, when they discovered on the beach, just along the road from here, just along the shore from here, a kind of stone box, and in the stone box there was all these. There was I think there was 3 complete sets of chess pieces, all carved out of walrus tusks, and they're amazing things. Now they're in the British Museum in London. Well, most of them are. There's 7 in the museum in Edinburgh, and the other ones are down in London in the British Museum. For the moment, they are. Anyway, they're most amazing little characters. You've never seen such little miserable characters. If you've seen them, they're so miserable, and the beautiful detail that they were carved out of. And the Queen's got her head in her hands like this, and the wee horsemen are sitting on their horses and looking really pissed off. And it's a real real weird thing. So I was imagining this bunch of wee chess pieces marching up out of the ocean in Ardroyle, marching up onto the beach, and them looking around and wondering what mischief they were up to, and I just went into a funny kind of a wee imagination thing about it. And so what you sing is, they burn upon the open hand, because I imagined that you wouldn't be able to pick them up, that they would be kind of, you'd have them in their hand and they'd bite you or something. So they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching on. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching, marching, marching mystery. Okay? So we'll try that. Global choir. I'll have to explain the chorus again. So they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching on. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching, marching, marching mystery. And I put a big peat fire on here for atmosphere, but I think I'm going to faint with the heat now. It's so mild outside, although it's a dirty night. It's very mild here on. Anyway, so here we go. Oh, I've just got to do a wee thing here. Can you see them yet? From ship to shining shore, out of an age when time was young, across the silver ocean's floor, their endless battle has begun. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. desert land. Marching, marching, marching mystery. That's the chorus. Will we try it again? See if we can get a bit of volume from our global choir. And they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land. Marching on, they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land. Marching, marching, marching mystery. And she holds her weary head, her heavy horsemen stand alone. It's for the living and the dead to search their fortune far from home. Here we go. And they burned upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land. Marching on, they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land. Marching, marching, marching mystery. There is majesty, there is tragedy, all in its place. Rank and file ever turning and moving the space on paths of black and gold. They come with tales too dark to speak, but the fascination holds, compels us on to search and seek. And they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land. Marching on, they burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land. Marching, marching, marching mystery. This is where you sing it on your own. Are you ready, global choir? And it's a bit difficult to remember all the words, but here we go. We'll see how we go on. They burn. I'm amazed. That's fantastic. I didn't think you'd get it as good as that. I think you've got it so good, I think you could do it again on your own. And they burn. From ship to shining shore, out of an age when time was young, across the silver ocean's floor. Their endless battle has begun. They burned upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching on. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching, marching, marching mystery. And that's my song, Marching Mystery. And I hope I've got everything set up. I hope the Hotel Jules is working okay up there at the back. We're going to continue with this wee song, which is going to require a wee bit of changing of tuning. And then normally I have 2 or 3 guitars with me. Down at Butterstone I have 2 or 3 guitars that I can actually put in the tunings. But I'm going to have to do this manually without the aid of a safety net. So if you just bear with me. There, that's just by magic. It's turned and tuning in. And I'm just going to read a couple of your requests I forgot earlier on. The first song I sang was a request for Richard and Ann Barrett from Hampshire. And Marching Mystery was for a wee request. I'm trying to do requests here, you see. I'm trying to keep this kind of thing a wee bit informal. From Josie Fleming from Perth in Australia. Wow, I bet it's hot out there just now. And this song has been requested by Leslie Smith in Verona in Italy, and for Karen and Carson, who are somewhere in Denmark, viewing on board their sailing ship, the Baldur. Very nice, somewhere in Denmark. I hope you've got better weather than we've got here on the west coast of the island, Lewis, because you can't see your hand in front of your face at the moment. Anyway. Might as well get it right. So I wrote this song after coming up to Lewis here, and it's been very important to me. And Finn's brother Willie took us out on a boat. I remember, talk about local knowledge, you know, and. There's a big reef out off the shore there, and but we're in an old wooden boat, and Willie, Finn's brother, said, "Now you should be able to see that reef just about now." And all of a sudden, this reef appeared under the boat, and I said, "How did you do that? You know, no GPS or anything." Well, he says, "When you line up that wee burn on the shore with that crack on the island there, and then with that other island out there, if you line that up with the edge of that," he says, "but if you get that place, you'll be right over the reef." And that's how the old folk used to know where the good places to fish were. They had all these kind of lines of sight, these kind of lines that they had with landmarks on the land. Anyway, so it's in this song, so we'll try this. So we'll try this and see how we get on. I have been strengthened, me your destined son. You fill my sails with winds to move me on, and on the swell of the great Atlantic Sea I find forgotten roots to steady me. And now I can be free within these winds of change. It wildly comes to me, unfolding endlessly. I have been opened, me the restless one. You give me paths of rock to walk upon, and in the shelter of the drainage sand, you give me gentle shore on which to land. And now I can be free within these winds of change. It widely comes to me, unfolding endlessly. When island signs meet with others from the shore, we sail through channels deep like those who've gone before. And in the clear of the Hebridean night, we turn her head round, now I can be free within these winds of change. It wildly comes to me, unfolding endlessly. And now I can be free within these winds of change. It widely comes to me, unfolding endlessly. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song, Distant Sun. And now I'm going to do a wee thing here. I've not done this before, and I thought it'd be quite nice to see this one upon Lewis. And I was raking about in my shed this afternoon, and I found this thing here. And I was wondering what it was, you know, and it's been stuck in the shed there and I happened to mention it to Finn. And he had this whole thing about it. So Finn's sitting up the back, and he doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I'm going to ask him to come up here. Those of you he's hiding, if he could come up here, and we'll have a wee chat about this, because it's got a special Gaelic name, and it's an obvious got an obvious function. So could you welcome up onto just something up for here for. So this is my friend Finn, and so Finn, You've got a Gaelic name word for this. What?
Yes, it's called a bacan.
A baccan.
Bacan.
And what was it actually used for?
It was used for tethering cattle.
For tethering
There was
cattle,
a chain
yeah.
attached to that.
Yeah, now, yeah, and so why would you do that now? Why did you tether the cattle? Was it
See, they would only eat so much of the grazing.
Down.
The length of the chain.
and the length of the chain?
Yes.
Well, actually, it's funny because after Finn was talking, I went hawking about in the shed, and I actually found the chain that goes with the backing.
That's it.
That's the very
chain.
thing.
Yes, and that was tethered on the back. That went on the back.
So you stuck that in there,
Yeah,
hammered that
you
into
hammered that into the ground, and this
and
was
then
tied
onto the
collar-
cow.
collar of the cow, and the cow just
So on the common grazing, then did everybody
Yes.
have their own bit that they
Everyone had their own bit.
that they could tether their cow to?
So if they had all the cows loose at the one time, it would be eaten in a day or two.
All the grass
But
would be
this
eaten.
saved-
That's.
yes.
And you were saying that you milk the cows down
Yes,
on the
yes,
on the
used to
tether.
used to milk the cows, yes.
On the tether.
Yeah, no problem.
And so
yes.
would there be 3 or 4 cows all tethered together in the one bit?
Yes. There was probably 8 or 9 tethered in all different places.
And
And
yeah.
everybody would milk at the same time and having a yarn and a laugh, you know. Yes.
And Finn's a native Gaelic speaker, and that's why it's a great word, baccan.
Baccan,
And I'll
yes,
let you into a wee secret because when he came, he said, "I'm going to give you a bit of paper so you know what it's called." But I managed to persuade him come up and tell you himself. Anyway, Finn has a croft just up the about a mile from here. Right?
Yes.
Your dad's croft.
That's right.
It's an amazing spot up there, and Finn and I go on these wee adventures about kind of local skills, local. You were talking about. I remember you were telling me about how they used the seaweed for manure for the.
Oh yes.
A layer of seaweed.
Yes.
And then a layer of manure.
I get manure out of the byre.
Out of the byre, and
yes.
then a layer
and
of
seaweed from the shore.
seaweed.
The
from
more rotten it was, the better.
the more rotten it was, the better.
The seaweed.
So your father did
and
that.
The pile of them right up to the top. The pile of that.
Yeah.
And then we use that for manure.
And Finn and I have had some great chats and some great adventures, but anyway, that was thanks for telling me about the back end. And I'm going to go and get myself a wee cow now and can get it tethered out, get it tethered out the back. Thanks, Finn, for coming up and telling us all about that. Back in. There we go. Well, you learn something new every time you tune into live with Dougie MacLean. And thanks for Finn, because he didn't know he was going to do that, and I just hijacked him as he came in. I'm kind of a wee bit lost now. Oh yeah, we're going to do another chorus song, and this is another thing another wee song that I wrote just after being out on an adventure with Finn when we were taking sheep. There's a wee island called Via Moor, just out there, and the village here. Would keep their sheep out on the island and then bring them back. About this time of year, Finn, wasn't it? About this time of year, and in old wooden boats. And I was very lucky, this is about 30 years ago, to be part of them bringing it all back in these old wooden boats. And there'd be about 50 sheep in the water would be this much away from the bottom of the side of the boat. And there'd be 50 sheep coming around with a wee 2 horsepower Seagull engine. Tick, 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 tick. And Finn at the front giving direction. And so I wrote this song when I got back because it's fantastic. Because that was at that time that was the way that people here had been doing that for hundreds of years. You know, probably maybe even thousands of years. You know, and so I wrote this song about that. It's called "Following Another Time," and I'm just going to So we're just going to rechange the tuning of this guitar again, just very briefly. You'll get the chorus, you sing, they're following another time, they're following another time. It's beautiful old, and time cannot change it. We'll get the words as we sing. Here we go. forward to gather. Forward to gather, they share the beam of weathered oak, father to father. We lean on every word they spoke. Listen how the wind could change. Look at how the tide it turns again. They're following another time. Ties cannot hold it. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. That's the chorus. And these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. To cut the long grass, to cut to save the summer sun, we take the long glass. We drink till we will be as one, watching for the gentle seasons fall, waiting, so much waiting for it all. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. Mr. Tatty Face tonight to do the solos. A bit empty here. To stand so silent, to watch across the endless sea, so calm, so violent. Is this the dawning truth we see? Listen how the winds are due to change. Look at how the tide it turns again. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. Okay, this is where you sing it on your own. Global choir, are you all ready? Oh, man, make that noise, go on. They're following. Fantastic. Now I think we can do it again with some harmonies and things. We'll get a wee bit louder, and sort of, I can feel it in the walls of the old farmhouse here. I'm getting that global choir vibe. Yep. Here we go. On your own again. We're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these tongues can Brilliant. Come on, one more time. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. They're following another time. They're following another time. It's beautiful, Lord, and these ties cannot hold it. Okay, thank you very much. And that's my wee song, Following Another Time. And that was, I was very lucky to be able to partake in a lot of stuff that doesn't happen anymore. And you know, that kind of way of life, that kind of communal way of life is disappearing as life becomes more and more complicated. And but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed your wee half hour. We've had a bit of it's been a bit of a not stress, but a bit of a panic. We just got up last night getting the equipment all organised today. So I hope it all worked all right for you. We'll just keep our fingers crossed. Up here, you just have to keep your fingers crossed because we don't know if the internet's going to work, if the aerial could be blown down by now. And but thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to Finn for coming up and explaining us all about the back-in. And and maybe we'll chat a wee. The next time we'll maybe chat a wee bit more about stuff because Finn has a wealth of knowledge about the place here and of old things and old skills and things and that and old historic things. And thanks for Jenny for pressing the buttons. And I don't have anything to I forgot to get myself. We were in such a panic before we started. I forgot to get myself a little port. So I'm gonna have to just do. I'll have my little port afterwards. So all I have to do now is to say good night. Hope you're looking after each other. Things are still pretty crazy. So look after each other and stay cheery. Smile like a tatty face. And I'll see you next weekend. We're going to be up here in Lewis next weekend too. So we'll have maybe we'll try and get some wee surprises for you for next weekend. So night. And as I would say up here, I chava, and I'll see you next weekend.